You can't eat or drink or have popcorn or anything in the movie theater because you feel kind of like an because it's so quiet at times in this film. Sorry. 1, 2, 3, 4. Finally got to be back inside of a movie theater. It's been way too long. Yeah, 10 months? That's a long time. Hey everyone, welcome to Mr. T's Film Preach, and if you're a lover of films like I am, and if you learn from films as much as I do, then you're in the right place. Welcome. And if you feel like you're in the right place, click like down below and subscribe, and also give me your comment. What did you guys think about this film? Was this an amazing sequel and you were so excited for it like I was, or were you highly disappointed? Thank you so much. This was one of my most anticipated films of this year, and so let's get into it. Today we are talking about the 2020, but I guess 2021 horror creature monster film, A Quiet Place Part 2. This is the sequel, the follow-up to A Quiet Place, which was written and directed by John Krasinski. I know, John Krasinski from The Office. Who knew?
I told you that you'd be on camera. I'm sorry, she's European. No, I told you that you'd be on camera. Stop.
Who knew he was an amazing horror person? Who knew he could actually direct something that's awesome and really well done? I applaud him, sir. Go Jack Ryan. This is a follow-up to the first film, A Quiet Place, which I absolutely loved. To me, that was one of the best creature features that I've seen in a very long time. And so there was a lot of expectations built up going into this sequel. This movie picks up exactly where we left off. Follow the mom, the daughter, the son, and the baby as they leave the farm and tread out into the wilderness of the world. And there they run into Cillian Murphy, one of my favorite actors, and he and them have to survive. The world is in complete silence because people are hiding from these monsters who can hear really well. It's a survival story. It's a little bit about humanity, about good and evil. But what was so great about this film, it was also a journey of discoverance. Torch that the adults have had to carry for the last how many days are now being passed off to the kids as the kids become a little bit more confident and independent, and we get to see that all throughout this film. So there's some really great character development in this film, and I love that John Krasinski did this in this movie, because if you focus on the characters and you stay more on that than you do the creatures, you actually care about the characters. You want to see them succeed, and it really pulls us in as audience members. And I think he did the right thing again, just like he did with his first film, crafted a story that's set in a really interesting universe. He's got a family that we really care for. And so he's already created a formula of success for these films. And it pays off really well again in this movie. The action in this movie is really intense. He does it well. It's there to push the story along. It's there to show our characters develop. And the story is really tight. I mean, these movies are only an hour and 40 minutes, hour and 37 minutes long. They really do a good job of packing as much time and much things into that time as they can. You never really feel bored in this movie.
They're not the kind of people worth saving.
The monsters are even more in this movie, more prominently used. You don't really see a lot of them in the first movie until like the second half of the film. This, you see them right at the beginning, that first opening scene. It's a full-on attack. Put it back in time and we got to see day one, which was really cool. I enjoyed that first 15 minutes, the opening sequence at the baseball game, and then where things start to go wrong. I thought that first 15 minutes was incredible.
That's okay. That's where? Mom. Oh my God.
So it's overall a bigger film and more expansive just because they've left the farm and they are out in the world, and a lot of great big things being built upon a great foundation that John Krasinski did with the first film. Emily Blunt is amazing. I mean, she is just one of the greatest actors out there. She can do it all, from her emotional range, from the great different characters that she's played all throughout her filmography. This role is one of her best. You really get to see her struggle as a mother, as a person, as a wife, someone who's grieving, and she pulls off this role so well. But probably one of the best performances, and maybe the most important one, is Millicent Simmonds. I think I'm saying her name right. She is amazing in this movie. Even if I don't agree with some of the things that her character does, she performs so well. She is an amazing actress. And of course, one of my favorites, Tommy Shelby.
To the Peaky fucking Blinders!
In the middle of Peaky Blinders right now, of course, then I go and see A Quiet Place Part 2. I'm like, yes, Cillian Murphy. All right. I've been a fan of his since 28 Days Later. He's so good and he's so versatile. He's just an incredible performer, and I think he has such a large range. Now, while I thought this was an amazing sequel, a great follow-up, a great continuation even from the first film, a couple of things that I wasn't quite the biggest fan of that they had a little bit better in the first film was the runtime of this movie was almost too short. I almost never say that.
What do you want?
I can't believe I'm saying it. I maybe just love this movie so much, and I love this world and the way that John Krasinski does this and his style, his tone, that I don't really want it to end. And I felt that this movie was cut abruptly short. I was like, what? That's it? No way! Some of the logic of what the characters would do, it wasn't realistic. Of course, this is a monster movie. It's not realistic as is. Some of the decisions that these characters make in this movie, I'm like, no, what? No. No! That's only happening for the good of the film. And I understand sometimes you have to do that, but it felt like every other decision or every other thing that the characters do in this film is just to drive the plot forward. Where in the first film, it felt like things were happening to them and they had to survive these moments. It was more authentic. It was a little bit more transitioned and it eased into things easier than this film. It's a plot device. Like, they're just doing this to get to the next point. One thing that I picked up on was that every so often, things wouldn't sound the way that they would. So, for example, at one point they put a gun down and there's no sound. Like, zero. It's like the sound has been muted. Or the gun, obviously being a movie, being a prop gun, is probably a plastic or a rubber gun. But there should be even a small little metal clang when the gun hits a metal floor. But in this movie, there's times where things don't even make a sound. Very aware of the sound because of what this movie is as A Quiet Place. But those are really only the small, tiny things that I can think of that this movie really had. Because overall, it was an excellent film. It was intriguing as heck. It was a lot of fun. It was intense and visceral. I really cared for these characters, even the introduction of the new ones. And I just wanted to live in this world a little bit more. By the end of this movie, I was thinking they were really just setting up a third one, which I really hope there is. So I'm gonna go ahead and give A Quiet Place Part 2 an A-. So what did you guys think of A Quiet Place Part 2? Was this an amazing film? Were you so happy with it? Or did you just think it was only okay? I was really happy with it, but I want to know your thoughts down below. And while you're down there, click like and subscribe for more videos. That would be awesome. Thank you so much for checking out Mr. T's Film Preach. Come back and check out some more films. Enjoy this wonderful summer. Get out there, stay safe, stay awesome. And as always, let's get taught.